we got, we're still lacking Dave, but I think we're gonna get started here. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Pursuant Chapter 30A, Section 20, hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording will be made of this meeting. First agenda item is a site plan amendment, 145 Housatonic Street. That's Starbucks. Casey Birch, are you our person for that?
Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me?
Gotcha. Do you want to share screen and?
I would love to. Let me think. Share it. Yeah. Let me know if everybody sees it.
Go ahead.
All right. So, hello, board members. My name is Casey Birch. I'm a civil engineer with Solely Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Lee Realty Ventures LLC, for a site plan amendment to the approved site plan review application and special permit application for the proposed Starbucks coffee shop located at 145 Housatonic Avenue. Let me see if I can. There we go. I'm sure everybody knows where the property is already. It's the old Friendly site. It's bound by Housatonic Ave to the west, Pilgrim Inn to the south, and a residential to the east, and Terrace Hair Studios to the north. The proposed Starbucks was approved by this board back in February 8th, 2021. Since that time, the applicant has proceeded with all necessary building permits and is currently under construction. It has come to our attention that during the construction process, a transformer was required by Eversource, which I believe was mentioned in the last meeting by my colleague Sam. And they needed it to satisfy the proposed Starbucks electrical demand. Now, the approved plans that prepared by our office that went through the process with you guys, they utilize the existing pole-mounted transformer and the underground conduit that's already out there. Apparently, this existing load was not enough to handle the proposed operations, and a transformer was required. It's located, we feel verified it's located in the northwest corner of the property, just north of the Starbucks site drive. The area of the project's already pretty tight as is, and the only location that made sense was in this corner. Apparently, this location utilizes the existing secondary conduit that's out there already, so they didn't have to rip up the entire site to relocate the line, and it has the shortest conduit run to the building, utilizing that existing conduit. Unfortunately, the large landscape area in the back was another option, but the way we designed this was to be to retain stormwater as part of the stormwater management facility. So putting a conduit and transformer in a place that could be inundated with water was not ideal. So Eversource went with this location in the corner here. I was informed at the last meeting that we did not go through the correct channels to get this approved. And honestly, I didn't actually find the site plan amendment process in the zoning bylaws, and I did not see it as a condition of approval, but I agree that it should have went to you guys, and I do apologize. The applicant and the applicant and the contractors definitely missed that. But I'm trying to make it right now to go through this with submission tonight. So on May 5th of 2022, the general contractor received a letter from the board stating that during the process of the site plan review and special permit review, there was much discussion of not impeding the line of sight of vehicles existing the adjacent business to the north here, which is the Terrace Hair Salon. It continues by stating that this transformer not only impedes visibility and safety, it was not designated on any of your prints on the submitted site plan and should have been presented for an amendment. And again, that's what we're here tonight to do. I wanted to stress the visibility and safety in regards to the transformer, because obviously that is important. We had the transformer field located, and then to verify the claims stated in the letter, we proceeded to prepare the intersection site distances required by the standards set forth in AASHTO Green Book, a policy on geometric design of highways and streets. For those of you not familiar with the acronym AASHTO, it stands for American Associate of State Highway and Transportation Officials. The AASHTO Green Book contains current design research and practices for highway and street geometry, and it's what we use all the time when we create site drives like this. It contains intersection sightline distance computation that we as the engineer and designers use all the time to verify if obstructions are within the line of sight for cars exiting a site drive. We applied these standards to the neighbor's driveway here, which is the Terrace Hair Studio, looking south. And we also applied it to our site drive, the Starbucks site drive, looking north. And as you can see, looking south, we had an ISD, or an intersection site distance of 335. And this right here, the 335 is actually this line along the center of the travelway. And then it's this line of sight right here is where a car would be parked to exit. And to safely see a car at this distance, you would need everything in this area to have no obstructions. As you can see, our transformer is located outside these triangles in both situations. And I agree, we also went out there and we verified it. I mean, you can put anything on a plan, but you really should go out there and measure these distances and then view down and see if the plan is actually correct. And what we found is it is consistent with what we're showing here tonight. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, there are obstructions out there, and it's not, and the visibility is poor. I will admit that. There's an existing electrical cabinet, which I believe my colleague mentioned last week. And it's the electrical cabinet that actually services the existing light poles for the town on the street. And there's also an existing state tree that's it's about 18 inches in diameter right here. Now, I did speak with the DOT, the district. Let me get his title up here. His name is Kevin Whalen. He's the Mass DOT district agent. And I spoke to him regarding the tree, and he spoke to his maintenance supervisor, and they both agree if this tree is an obstruction to the site distance, which obviously you guys can see that it is, that it should be removed. And our client is willing to do so. Now, I can't say too much about the utility cabinet. That's obviously in the town's hands, but for the current situation that we're here now, we could remove this tree and improve the visibility at the intersection site distance for both drives, more for the Terrace Studio, so on, because if you remove the tree for our property, I mean, that cabinet is like right in front of it, so it's not going to really help us, but it will help Terrace Hair Studio. Now, but we're not here for those. I just wanted to bring those up because the board did emphasize visibility and safety, and as you can see, the location of our transformer doesn't impact that. It doesn't impede the sightline triangle, and to relocate it wouldn't help your current condition. I mean, that's what I wanted to present to you guys tonight, and I hope you can.
Okay.
I hope this clearly shows everything.
It does show it. Casey, thank you very much. There's a line of sight also in the safety, and also just all of a sudden there's a giant green box on the property line, or not on the property line, but it's very close. So that's also, you know, a concern that this structure's there. Matt Carlino, you have your hand up for a comment?
Yes, I appreciate Casey's
Board member.
presentation. I appreciate Casey's presentation, and I appreciate him reaching out to District 1, Kevin Whelan. Do we have a Casey? So did he say that they would agree to take that tree down?
They said it would be up to us. Since our contractors are out there already, the applicant has agreed to do so. And when I say remove tree, that also includes stump and all, because that is the DOT requirement. You have to remove it all. So yes, we would be willing to do so.
Okay, that's good to know. I actually agree with sort of everything Casey's saying about the actual safety. It doesn't, you can see through the gap of the two electrical boxes. It just doesn't help. It seems to add to the trick coming out there. And it's frustrating because we really were concerned, and Ann at Terrace Studio was here and really didn't want anything large there, and then ends up getting this big wall of green. So it's very frustrating that it showed up there without our discussion or our involvement. I guess we can't look backwards, but it's just very frustrating. So, but I do appreciate the help or the suggestion about cutting down the tree. I think that I'd like to hear from Ann, I think, how she feels about that when we get there. But I appreciate everything you said, Casey. And that's it for me.
Okay, any other board members? I don't see any. Ann,
Buck,
could
I
you?
got my-
Oh,
Buck,
I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Peter. Okay, Peter, go ahead.
Dave has got his hand up too. You'll go
Why am I
next.
not seeing these?
Okay, and Peg now too.
There we go. All right, sorry.
Just a couple of technical questions, Casey. First, thank you for bringing in a revised plan and for considering the recent objections to this. I think you've been very responsive. But I have a couple of just questions about your chart that's on the screen here. The location you show the car in the driveway, how was that location identified? Is that just where they pull the bumper up to the sidewalk and stop?
No, actually, I have an enlargement here I can show you guys. So as part of the intersection site distance, you have to be a certain specific distance from your center line of the road that you're receiving your site look from. So in this case, I believe I think it's like 30 something feet off the center line.
So that's an engineering standard that you're following when you located it there?
Correct. It all depends on design speed and which way you're looking and how many lanes are coming across. So
Okay. And my other question is, I think you said 335 feet of sight distance, and the speed limit.
We're looking south.
Yeah, the speed limit there, I believe, is 35. So that gives you about 5 seconds of travel time before a car that's at the limit, at the visual limit, would get to the driveway. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right. In the distance, they also take into braking considerations if the other people see people pulling out.
So this 335 feet is more than enough, in your opinion, to be safe?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write the design guidelines, but it's a standard that we follow, an industry standard that we follow using these calculations. Correct.
Well,
and they do it for safety and visibility.
Let me clarify my question. You calculated that there's a visual sight line of 335 feet. Is that right?
That's correct.
Is that safe?
Yes.
And you say that because why?
Because that's what Astro Green Book has. They have that's the length that they have gathered through years and years of research to verify that that's a safe stopping distance. Correct.
Okay, so if it was 334 feet, would it be not safe?
I mean, it wouldn't be the threshold of the guidelines, correct?
Well, what I'm trying to understand is, does the actual site distance exceed by a safety margin the minimum requirement?
It is the minimum requirement, what we're showing
Oh,
here.
So what you've got, what you're showing is actually, well, so this is not what people can see, this is what's required?
It's both. It's the distance required to safely stop if somebody pulls out here. And
Okay,
it's the distance that you can see a car, so you do not pull out.
so there's no safety margin above the standard then, it just exactly meets the requirement.
No, not necessarily. I can go further, like I'll draw a line here. You can go way out here and see how it still does not touch our transformer.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, I see, okay.
there is a much more distance.
So,
Correct.
so
You can go
what
a lot
you're,
further.
so what your chart is showing is the standard and that the standard is met, but the actual situation could be better than that. You just aren't saying so. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, to do it fully, you could see, if you had a turn, if you had a radius here, like people coming down, you could see along that turn. I mean, you can see all the way down the road without having this
Okay.
be an issue.
I
Now,
understand.
when you get,
Go ahead.
now, when you go beyond this point, right? I'll show, like, you can see here, see that, the existing electric handholds done for the town?
Yeah. That's
So
short.
you're taking the visibility of about this much. See this triangle right here inside here?
Yeah,
That's the visibility that nobody can see if they are actually stopped here. Like that, I don't know what that distance is, but it looks like if this is 300, that looks about 110 maybe feet, that if a car was in this zone, you're not able to see it if this car is set back into the required distance from the
I see.
street.
okay, very good. I understood wrong in the beginning. I thought you were saying that was how far people could actually see, but that wasn't.
Oh,
what
no,
you were saying.
Right. No, I
Okay.
apologize.
Thank you. No, it's not your fault. I just misunderstood. Thank you.
Dave?
Yeah, Casey, again, thank you for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. Since DOT has blessed the removal of the tree, is there any chance that you people could move that electrical light control panel back? So the tree
I'm
be
not-
gone and the panel be
Right,
moved back towards, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure. I know the town. That's the town's property, so I'm not sure who to really speak to in regards to that. But I mean, as you can see, it was obviously installed without any design concepts of intersection site distance. But yeah, I'm not sure who to really speak to regarding
Well-
that. Maybe the DPW, or if you have
Well,
that agency in town.
that street is a little strange. The state has some control, the town owns it. I know just in a recent repave, the state paid for the paving. So it's kind of up in the air who actually has the jurisdiction over what goes on there. Yes, you could talk to the DPW in the town of Lee about the box, the controller box. My only concern is if we move it back, how are we gonna take care of the splices to protect them from water? If you're gonna take everything and splice it in one spot, even if you put it in a ground box, you have to protect it from water so we don't end up losing sections of lighting down there because of a short in the line.
Right.
But with the tree gone, the box gone or moved back, I don't think there'd be a lot of complaints of what's going on. And lastly, is there anywhere we can soften the blow of that electrical panel to the hairdresser? You know, maybe some kind of shrubbery or a hedge or something low maintenance that's not gonna grow real high, just to soften the blow once we move, if we can move everything back and get rid of the tree.
Right, I mean, we have no problem providing landscaping around this edge towards the property. Obviously, if we provide landscape, it's still outside the sightline distance. We probably wouldn't put it in front just because when it starts growing and we don't want to
Right.
approach that
Exactly.
sightline distance. But yeah, we could definitely look into softening this facade on this side with some, I'll speak to my landscape architect about that in the applicant, and I'm sure they'll have no problem implementing that.
But I say, if you can talk to either town, start with the town and go to the state, just to see who's going to pick up responsibility for that cabinet and move that back towards your transformer. As long as it stays out of your driveway area, that would open up that whole line of sight.
Correct.
I mean, we have a lot of elderly people that use that hairdresser. And when you come now, we got a little confused with the tree, the transformer box, the light controller. You know, you get used to one thing, it's hard to change it.
Right. And we did notice when we were out there that that like this is where people pulled out, which is, I mean, it's about probably 6 feet more in front from where they're supposed to be. But again, that site drive doesn't have any stop bar safety, like no stop sign, a stop bar safety measures that are typical for a commercial site drive. So I get it. People are probably just bombing out without any stopping. But I've noticed when they're out there that they do pull out to get beyond the tree and the transformer. And I mean, they're not all the way out in the travel way, but their nose is pretty close. And then they're able to visually see where the sight distance, the minimum sight distance is for safety. So that's about a 6-foot travel creep from where you should be at per AASHTO.
Well, I went down there and did it myself. Went in the driveway, turned around, came back out. My front wheels were not on the sidewalk, but the nose of the car was over the sidewalk. So then
Right.
you have to watch out for pedestrians. You know, it throws one more thing in the mix.
Right.
All set, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Peg?
No,
You
I
have a
just,
comment?
I want to thank him for trying to help us. And I do agree with everything that everybody else has said. So see
Okay.
what we can do.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Let's talk to our business owner, Ann. What your thoughts?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. So I appreciate, Casey coming and, working with taking down the tree and everything. I think that'll be a big help. I mean, the reason that I went to the original meeting was because I already knew it was a bad situation there. And that's why I requested nothing tall at the end of the driveway, because I knew I already had a situation. And this certainly didn't make it any easier. The other day, my husband happened to take some pictures, and he took some pictures before the box, in the middle of the two boxes, and then after the box. And what we found now was there was a pickup truck parked right at the, so if you pull into the Starbucks and take a right, that very first parking space, Yeah, almost, nope, the other way. Yep, there was a pickup truck parked there. And when you were looking between the boxes, that pickup truck totally blocked looking down the lane. It was like, I mean, we have a picture of it. It was like, it made that window so small that I kind of think, your diagram's a little off. But basically, my gripe is that you made a bad situation worse. And by doing all this without anyone's knowledge, it's, to me personally, when Starbucks traffic is going to be coming out of there, imagine Starbucks traffic turning right and my people turning left. I mean, I think it's an accident waiting to happen, but I do agree that the tree will help, taking the tree down. There's a Starbucks over by where my daughter lives. And I noticed they also had some green boxes, but none of them were as large as this one. And I was wondering why that is so big. And a couple of the boxes that they had were actually low, that you could see right over the top of them. And I was like, why is this one so big? And so anyways, I'm happy with the tree coming down. And honestly, as far as the big green box is concerned, I would rather have it artwork painted on it than putting any more bushes in that area. I would rather see a pretty picture than having to look at that ugly green box.
What do you think,
see-
Casey?
That's interesting. I've never heard somebody. I mean, when usually you put like an image like that on a monument, like a utility, it's usually graffiti, so people think poorly of it. But I get what you're saying. I mean, I won't tell my landscape architect that you think you don't like trees and you'd rather have image pictures, but I can see you'd like to soften the green. I understand that, and definitely a picture would help that too.
I think
I don't
I've
know
seen
if
those.
I know any artists in the area, but sure you can look in commissioning somebody.
That's
We,
cool.
I think City of Pittsfield has done some of that stuff.
They have,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's Berkshire County, we have lots of artists around. Matt, did you have something more to say?
Yeah, I was actually going to just ask Casey about, before I forgot, I wanted to ask about the fences. By the way, I drove in there tonight and did another drive out Ann's driveway to kind of test it again. The property looks great. I drove right through the drive-through. It really looks great. And I know we're getting a lot of flack for the dumpster in the front. But boy, after driving in there, I don't know where we would have put it, because it really doesn't look like it fits anywhere else. So just for the record, I'm okay with it now, I guess. But the fences to the neighbor to the east, I noticed that's still the old fence, and I believe in our original discussion, we were going to put a higher fence to really make sure the lights don't get through to their house. Do you know if that's going to be done, Casey, or is that going to stay? You got the new fence along the south side. But I was wondering about the east, and actually I was wondering about the north along Ann's. It's half of it's, I wouldn't say half of it, but some of it's down and it looks really shoddy.
I'd have to see what was approved. If they didn't install the fences yet that were approved by the town, then I'll speak to them, because they definitely should have. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't recall if this line of fence was supposed to be replaced or not.
I don't think that one, the one to the north was, but the one to the east, the abutters, the neighbors came to our first meeting and were concerned about the headlights at night when they were coming back. Yeah, that section back there. And
Yeah, I
the
believe,
the existing fence
I
is there.
believe that is a new, I believe that is a new 6-foot high wood stockade fence that was supposed to be installed, but it looks
It's-
like it ends at the existing fence, so it's like only a portion.
Okay, I don't even think a portion was done. The new fence that I saw installed was all along the southern side. But maybe they're gonna still do it. I would have thought they probably would have done it while they were there.
Yeah, I mean, we, at the, when they're, I believe, typically, especially for Starbucks' program, when they're almost done, we actually have to go out and do a punch list and make sure that they satisfied everything on the approved plans. So I'll definitely keep note of that. If they did not install that, I will put it on our punch list, and we'll provide the town with a copy of that punch list as well.
And then I just maybe take a look at the northern fence along Ann's. I mean, I don't, want you guys to spend more money than you already have, but it does look kind of shoddy. Maybe it can be fixed up, but so there's a section of it down, and you can kind of see through from Ann's parking lot into the Starbucks parking lot. Just take a look at it, I guess. That's it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can anyone have a motion to accept or deny the amendment to the site plan, and please include things we've talked about?
Well, do we want to do a motion about what do we do about the tree? How do we,
I think that would be part of the motion.
okay. Is that something we can get in writing for the tree to make sure that we get that done? I just would hate to, I don't know what everyone's feeling.
Yeah, I think, wouldn't you typically do it as like a condition to this approved site plan amendment?
Yes.
Could
Okay.
I just interrupt for a second? Casey, can you remind me again what you've changed? What did you change from the original site plan?
The only modification we had was the transformer pad location. Or actual transformer. We never had a transformer pad
Okay.
and transformer originally.
Okay.
This is new.
So the only thing that's being submitted here is to conform to the as-built. Is
Mhm.
to conform to the as-built design.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what's submitted on.
Okay,
But we have
okay.
some,
right, well,
they've offered up some conditions.
I'll make a motion. I guess nobody else seems to be eager.
Well,
Matt, do you want to do it?
yeah, I mean, I'll be fine doing it. I was just trying to get an idea on the tree first, and then Dave mentioned the Town of Lee electrical box. I know that's a hard one because there's nothing concrete about that, but do you think there's
Isn't it-
anything we can have to look into, or at least, or something?
Don't we need different people to do that? I mean, don't we need the public works people?
Yeah, I mean, it might it might be too much, but
It's not really Starbucks' fault, I don't think. That it's a pre-existing town facility.
I'm just trying to, help the whole situation out.
I really don't think that pertains to the amendment or anything to do with Starbucks, tell you the truth, unfortunately.
I got you. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. I just want to bring it up for conversation. Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the amended site plan with a condition that the tree on the corner of Terrace Hair Studio is cut down and the stump is removed.
Decorative painting on the transformer? No? Okay.
I'll second it.
Hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Matt,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Thank you all. And Casey, I would encourage your client to look into doing something artistic on the transformer. I think that would be great for the client and everyone involved. If you go down Terringham Road,
Mm.
there's an old barn silo that they just painted giant sunflowers on. Looks pretty cool. So, all right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, we can definitely look into it. And I mean, I went to UMass Amherst. I know Holyoke. I remember Northampton always had stuff like that too. So I've seen it.
Yeah.
We'll look into it for sure.
Thank you.
Apologies for my son. He's autistic and he.
We're good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey.
We understand, Casey.
Have a
Thank you
good-
very
have a
much,
good night.
Casey. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay, Ann.
Okay.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank
Yep,
you, Ann.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, moving on. We have sign permit. Shoot, where did we go here? Beth, is this the, in our packet, is that the sandwich board they want a permit for? That's selectmen.
The building department told them to submit a sign permit for the planning board, but I think if you go on permitize, there might be 2 sign permits.
Okay.
One for the outlets.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, just to address this one in 7/7. Oh my God. 02. 02 is sandwich boards. Okay. So that'll go to the select board. Let me get out of this. And permitize up. Oh, here we are. See, premium outlets. Yeah, Beth, I'm seeing premium outlets, but there's no paperclip with any pictures or anything there.
Well, I was in the room when one of the building inspectors called them and said, you need to submit pictures before Monday. So if they hadn't, then
No, I don't see any pictures here.
They're on their own anyways up there. Right? We always end up just approving.
Yeah, we do. But, Heather Pixley, yeah. Julian Knapp, premium outlets, there's no pictures there. So. What else we got? Let me, oh, here we are. So everybody can see it, and I'm not just making it up. Where'd it go?
Oh, yeah, you gotta switch it to the sign
Mm.
Yeah,
up top there, Buck.
actually, it's this one right here. Julian Knapp Premium Outlets sign. And there's nothing there for us. Okay,
Do you know if you go up in the search, the
I
type of
do, but
permit?
I do, and that, sometimes that's clunky. It gets rid of everything.
Oh, yeah, oh, does it? Oh, yeah, huh. I think,
Then it eventually works.
oh, yeah, it used to work pretty good from what I remember.
There we
but
go. Now we
Oh,
got
yeah.
signs.
There you go.
There we are. So just, these ones are here, but, not that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
I didn't realize the minutes are from March. When I was reading them,
Before we leave signs, Buck, can I ask, has our first round of bylaw changes been approved by the AG yet?
nothing yet, Beth? No? Okay. Should be any time.
So once that happens, we stop reviewing permanent sign applications, right?
yes,
I believe so.
Yes.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
we still get a report on it, because
Right.
that's part of the
Well,
bylaw that they
Yeah,
provide,
we
they
should,
provide a copy.
once we get approved, we should meet with Matt Colmer, I think is his name, and the new
Yep.
building commissioner, and see if we can work out a protocol for how those reports are gonna look.
yeah,
But Beth, I wonder, could you tickle the AG's office and ask him what the holdup is?
If I may, Peter, usually it takes a while. I don't know if this is unusually slow.
Oh,
Sometimes it doesn't come through sometimes to midsummer, sometimes,
I
maybe.
see. Oh,
That's why I even wonder, I don't remember that ever being the case before, that we had to wait for approval. I thought once we approved them at town meeting,
no,
Yeah, I know,
we
I'm
defi-
sorry.
we
I
definitely
disagree.
have to wait for approval, but I just didn't think that it was gonna take months. I mean, the town has passed, we have a delegated authority to enact local laws, and the town has expressed its view, and it just seemed like a shame that we're waiting on some, assistant AG to get through the stack on their desk before we can implement it. But I guess that's the way it works. Anyway, I'd still like to see if Beth could ask them when they expect,
sure.
what a reasonable expectation would be for a decision.
Okay. Sounds good. We want to knock out the minutes, and then we'll discuss master plan. We'll skip up the order a little bit here.
Sounds good.
Approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the March 14th and March 28th minutes as presented.
Second,
Any further discussion?
So
Hearing none. Oh,
oh,
sorry,
yeah,
go
so we still have obviously April's, right? And to get caught up. And
okay.
May's, of course.
Yeah, we've had special and town meetings going on in there, so
Yeah.
it's been busy around there.
Are the minutes staying up on the site now?
That's
good,
good. That's good. Thank you. Roll call vote. Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Peg,
aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay. Our master plan. Talked to Tom Matusko, and basically, he gave us the basics to start with, and then as you guys all saw on the webinar, there's a whole lot more that will go into this. The basic thing we have to do first off is figure out what steering committee we're gonna who's gonna be on that. In his scope, it's to be no more than 11 members. So That's all they'll deal with. They won't deal with any more people than that. Because, and I agree, even that's a lot. He said there's two pitfalls there. You have, a lot of people with way too many various ideas. And also sometimes you have a tough time getting a quorum for a meeting. If you have 20 members, that means you have to have over 10 for a quorum. So that could be difficult. 11 puts it at 6. That usually is attainable. So I guess we gotta think about who key players and everything that would be on this.
So who do we ask? One from the select board?
I
Or do we
think
leave-
so.
You what?
Yeah, I think select board would have a representative.
One from the conservation?
Okay,
Rec committee,
yep.
Public Works,
Hmm,
How
about
about finance?
yeah, for sure.
hmm,
How about fire and police?
hmm.
Should we ask, should we invite them to be members or just interview them?
I don't know, that's the question. Emergency services, you mean?
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that's what the whole thing is called, isn't it? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Chamber?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Gordon here.
Gordon.
We have an emergency management officer, and that would be the one who would coordinate with both police and I'm sorry, I'm getting a spam call. Sorry about that. I'll get back in a minute.
Okay. Chamber of Commerce?
Good idea.
It's not a bad idea.
How about that? Do we have an active historical commission that we should
Yes,
include?
Yes, I think they should be on it too. So how many is that?
No
How
room
many
for
of-
us.
We got 8.
8?
Well, I don't think all of us need to be on it. 1 or 2, but how many do you think?
Well, I'm really busy with work, so if
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'll take my name off, I'm saying if there's no room and we need one to not be on it from us, I'm really busy, so, I'm okay with,
I agree. Myself, between this and Berkshire Regional, I stay pretty busy also, so,
what about a member from the general public that's not associated with any committee?
yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
How do we do that?
You
Well-
advertise. Yeah, the board of
Member at
selectmen say
large?
this is what we want. Would somebody like to volunteer?
Yeah, I have one.
oh, we need the Lee Youth. The
Yeah.
youth, maybe, who might want to be a part of, maybe would be Janet Warner might want to be part of it, we could ask.
Now, would that cover our Lee Youth and Recreation also?
Might.
Yeah,
You usually want to reach out to the committees and let the committee decide who on their membership would be
Right,
the
Okay,
committee
Right.
person instead of specifically going after an individual, generally.
Yeah.
about the school.
Sure.
Yeah, that's an important one, yeah.
I think that's very important.
So we got 1, 2,
How many is that?
that's 11,
That's not counting any of us.
correct?
I think you should probably have 2 members of the planning board if you're willing to do it.
Yep. So,
Could we go and just sit and listen even if we weren't that person all the time?
Yeah, I think what you have to watch out
Yeah.
for is if you have 2 members and somebody else shows up, you just want to post it as a planning board meeting just for quorum purposes in case somebody ever
Sure.
wants to complain.
Okay,
But I think that's a great idea, Peg. Sure.
so how many, we want 2 members of the planning board on this?
I'd like to see if we can get to, I'd like to serve, and I think we have to have at least one. That guy recommended at least one tonight, and I think that makes sense, because we have to be the ones to vote this in the end, don't we?
Right.
Yes.
We are.
So
Yeah.
one or two of us needs to keep the rest of us in the loop as things progress and make reports and take input back. I think two would be good if we could make room for us. If we have that interest.
Do we
I
have a
think what you're
second
gonna find
interest?
in, yeah, I think what you're gonna find in the long run is that people will show up at first and then it'll peter out and you won't get as much activity as you would hope. Or that some people won't make some meetings, as you mentioned, you'll usually get a quorum, but then some people are gonna be missing once in a
Yeah.
while. So I don't think having 13 on there as a general rule is going to be a problem or be problematic for everybody.
Other than I think the contract we have with Berkshire Regional is that maxes it out at an 11-person board.
Gordon, can I ask you, of all the people we've listed, I wonder if any of them would prefer to be just sort of technical resource people rather than full members of the committee and not spend the time to do it, to
Yeah.
work for a year and a half. Can you think of anybody in that category?
I would say when you write to the committees, you can put that down as an option for them if they wish to do it that way,
Yeah.
rather than a voting member. And I'm not going to suggest somebody not be a part of it. So I think that's really left up to the committees.
Okay.
How's that for an
Do we have a-
evasive answer, Peter?
That,
No,
no, I,
that's perfectly
like that.
fair.
Yeah.
That's perfectly, yeah.
I'm
do we
not
have a
really-
second do we have a second member of the board that would want to be on there?
I'd like to be present when whoever talks about the school. I will admit that the school to me is
But you're
very
not,
important. I mean,
I mean,
not. for the-
I'll do it. I'll be part of it. I just, if it came down to it and, we had enough, I would bow out because I am pretty
Dave,
overloaded.
what are you thinking, Dave?
I have a question to start off. Are we gonna rewrite a new master plan? Or are we gonna work on updating the old master plan?
Maybe
I mean, the
both.
old one still has a lot of good points.
Right.
That hasn't changed historically, other than, the mill situation. It seems to me we need a rewrite, a part of it, save part, use part, and implement a new part.
I think we're
Work it all together.
Yeah, we're gonna need to have all of the latest census data, and we're gonna have to survey the building facility needs and the finance plan, the capital plan, refer to that. That's all gonna be updated. And as you mentioned, the mills have closed, but there's all sorts of new issues around housing too that we're gonna have to deal with. What kind of a posture is the town gonna have about housing? We got the Eagle Mill going in. There's going to be a lot of apartments. What's going to be our posture in the future about housing availability? That's a big one, I think.
well, do we offer up a position to the Lee Housing Authority on this?
Yeah. Well, why don't we just, Buck, why don't we just send out a scat of letters and say, see, do you want to be a technical resource or do you want to be a member? And we'll see how many member requests we get.
I think that's a real good, I think that's the way to do it. Because, and in the letter, we, emphasize the commitment that there's going to be. How, it's going to be probably at least what do they think, an 18-month process, at least?
I think that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Peg? What do
No,
you
I
have?
was, no, I don't have anything. I was just wondering, is it possible, I'm just asking this question now, if one night, I mean, I don't really want to be the person for a year and a half process, so I'll bow out too, but there are some that I would really be interested in going and hearing about. So Is that acceptable? As long as we post it correctly?
It's always gonna be open meetings, so, of course. But there again, they'll probably be posted as planning board meetings also, just in case.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay,
What if we just send feelers out right now to see who's gonna be interested before we lock anybody into position? Because we may end up with more people out from the planning board just to fill the
Yeah.
position because we can't fill the rest of them.
I mean,
okay,
11's a
That's true.
maximum too. We don't have to have that. You know, if we send, yeah, so let's throw it out to who else you thinking around town? And then we'll whittle it down to 11 if we have to. How's that sound?
Yeah,
No, that
I like
sounds good.
that. Let's see what kind of interest we get.
yeah, and I thought Gordon's comment about just a regular person.
Yep. Well,
I
that,
don't know if that's what we would call that person, but, you know.
We have a member of the community.
Remember,
we have,
okay, so we,
we have two select board members in the meeting tonight, so
oh, okay,
speaking of, so,
They can announce it at their
they
meeting.
could, yes.
yeah, that'd be wonderful.
We've
Can you
also-
guys do that?
Give us a copy of your letter, and I'm sure
Yep.
the
Yeah.
chairman would
Will
allow it.
do.
Yeah,
We've also got about 40 formerly employed representatives of our representative town meeting. and Some of them
That's
might
right.
want to be
They,
involved.
they have nothing to do these days.
There might be a very good interest, though, we don't know. I hope there is.
Okay, so trying to think what other boards we have in
Well,
town.
Buck, on the Board of Public Works, I'm sure we all heard that Al Zervano's retiring.
Hmm,
And
I
he's
know.
leaving-
Really?
He's leaving next month.
Wow.
So as I say, I don't know if we're gonna reach to somebody else on the board, which, you know, I don't want to raise my hand for two positions. I got enough hats on.
It'll just be spinning around, right, Dave? Spin
That's
that
right.
hat around
Yeah,
every which direction. Okay, so we'll get a letter together and to send out. I'm thinking what businesses or economic development, we really don't have I'm drawn what was the, Gordon, help me out. What was
What were we looking for? I'm sorry.
the economic development? We had what, Lee Development, was that? They did.
The
480
CDC?
CDC,
CDC,
The
thank you.
CDC, yeah.
Yeah,
Community
they're really gone,
Development
right?
Corp. That's still on. It's not real active, just there's a couple lots left over in the OPLI, but
Yeah.
they meet on other issues too, not just OPLI.
Okay,
no.
Would-
Well,
yeah,
But could I just say, when he presented in his, in that first hour when we were watching the podcast there, he said you have at the very beginning, you have a meeting to set your mission and goals. I think that was, those were the two words. It seemed to me sort of backwards. It's like, wait a minute, first we're going to set our mission and goals, and then we're going to collect data. But I think that actually that probably is a wise course, because it gives people a chance to sort of spiel. If we hold a public meeting early on and just say it's to establish, broad goals and mission for this task, I think that we'd probably hear from a lot of people who have ideas about where the town ought to go. And I think that now that we're undertaking the process, those people probably don't want to wait a year to be heard. So maybe we should just keep in our minds that a month or two from now, once we get the committee formed, there'll be some sort of a public hearing just on general topics, pretty broad scope. Does that make sense?
oh, yeah,
I think so. I think that's a great idea, Peter.
that's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we sell tickets?
We may have to have the police there.
Oh, I would think might. Yeah. We do have an ag commission in town. Do we,
yes, and that's true, too. Yeah,
Okay,
And
any,
that's
any
easy.
other commissions or whatever anyone comes up with? Let's hear about them so we can put our feelers out.
Beth, would you look through the bylaw? There's a list of committees and commissions and boards that we send copies of things to. We may have overlooked one of them in tonight's discussion.
You have a cultural council also, which may or may
Yeah.
not want to be involved.
Are
Mhm.
they still around?
Well, yeah, well, we get grant money that we have to give out, so.
That's true, yep. Kathy Hall. You have your hand up. There you are.
Yeah.
There she is. I see a forehead. There she is.
I just wanted to ask, are you also incorporating the open space and rec plan within the master plan? Or are they going to be two separate entities?
I believe that there'll be, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I would think it would have to be at least referenced, but a lot
It'll
of
be
it would
referenced,
probably
I'm
be
sure.
plucked and put in it. you know.
Yeah.
Kathy, just as one person, I just want to say that I haven't read your entire plan, but I thought it was very well put together. The description of the town and the circumstances of the town and what's going on here, I thought was much better and more readable than the original, than the last master plan. So if I have anything to say about it, a lot of what is in your plan will be used. But I don't know the answer to your specific question
Yeah.
any more than Buck does.
I think in terms of being able to get grant money from the state, that we have to update our open space and rec plan. So I didn't know if that could be, part of all of this. Because we just need to update it, but
I
there's.
think we have to hear from, we have to keep in touch with you and include some stuff in the master plan. I just don't know how much stuff that has to be.
Right.
Exactly.
All right,
Okay,
so we'll just, I can ask Tom also, because he helped us with that in 2015. All right, thank you.
so it'd be, when we send a letter out, it'd be safe to say it'll be a 18-month to 2-year endeavor.
That's probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
with at least monthly meetings or more.
Mhm.
Gordon, you're probably the only one that remembers the first one, the last one.
More than likely.
Do you remember it at all?
A little bit,
What it
yes.
took?
Yeah, it took, well, about a year and a half, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Were you in on it?
I was not on the committee itself. We
Gotcha.
had another member of the board, I believe was.
Okay. All right.
Buck, before we adjourn, I don't know if we're done with this. I have one other thing I wanted to bring to the board's attention.
Yeah, I think we're all set with this. Go ahead.
So with regard to the Starbucks, I had a conversation with Matt Colmer. I called Beth and she asked Matt to call me, and Matt and I had a nice talk. He was very helpful, but I'm afraid I didn't want to bring this up when we were talking about the site plan, but what Matt said is if the case is that some applicant has had his site plan approved and it's built in such a way that there is a transformer built into the site that wasn't on the plan, that is not a building. And he cannot find a basis upon which to issue a citation if it's not a building. And I said, whoa, because, we impose all kinds of conditions about planting shrubs and driveway widths and, and all of that stuff is not buildings. And so we sort of agreed, and it was an amicable call, but we sort of agreed that there's a gaping hole in our ability to enforce any of the conditions in our site plan reviews that do not directly relate to the buildings. And his suggestion was try to amend your bylaw so that he can enforce variances from approved site plans.
Actually, it's
I
already
think-
there. If you just tell him to put his zoning official hat on instead of his building official hat, that's already there, that he can, he has the zoning enforcement agent, and there's case law already that says as a zoning enforcement agent, he can enforce if someone is not in compliance with their approved special permit documentation.
How
You would
about
do it
site-
that way.
How about site plan
If
documentation?
that's, in the case of a special permit, the site plan approval that's why I was always big on saying, make sure you write down what the plan date was and, you know, being very careful what documentation you did and that you noted in your motions, because as long as that site plan was a paper document stamped and approved, and as part of the plan approval and special permit approval, then he has every right as the zoning enforcement officer to enforce that under our zoning bylaws. It can always be appealed to the ZBA, but he has every right to do that. And I mean, not that we want to go there, but the town of Lee has adopted the non-criminal disposition where he can actually write tickets for zoning, not for building code. That's a different ticket, but for zoning infractions, including, you know, not building it in accordance with the approved special permit. I wouldn't use the word site plan all the time, but the special permit documentation, which includes the drawings, which is the site plan.
Well, what if it was only a site plan review?
Yeah,
There's case law about that too. And I can talk to Matt a little bit about that and point him in certain directions. But there's quite a mix, as you probably remember, Peter. There's a lot of mixed decisions from the courts as far as what you can disapprove or not approve, you know, that kind of a thing, and
Yeah.
what leverage you have. So it might amount to almost a degree of noncompliance to a site plan.
Okay. Well, I just wanted the
Yeah.
board to know about it because
Mhm.
we finally just cleared the decks of all these darn amendments to the zoning bylaw. And then it looks like maybe we need another one, but Gordon, if you're right, then maybe we don't. And
Oh.
so would you talk to him, Gordon, if you get a chance?
Yeah, I'll be able to talk to him sometime this week. I'll stop in and
And then
just
I'll
tell
try
him
to
to put
do
his other
a,
hat on.
I'll try to do a follow-up call sometime too. There's no rush on this, obviously.
Yeah, I agree that it's not a building code issue, it's a zoning enforcement issue, so he's got to wear a different hat.
Yeah, I just feel a little stupid that, you know, we sit around here and say, we put on our little wizard hats and we say, you know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, well, you can do this if A, B, and C, and then, you know, B and C don't have to do with something that, you know, gives them jurisdiction to actually enforce it. Yeah.
yeah. And how I've understood it, it also is the special permit, conditions there have a whole lot more teeth than a
Yeah.
site plan.
Yeah, absolutely,
Conditions.
in the
We-
law.
If it really got pushed, sometimes a site plan could probably get kicked in a further up land court, but a special permit has a lot of teeth.
Well, and a
that
special
accurate?
permit, the condition on a special permit is, can you put a condition on it, and it can be the special permit prior to it being registered after 20 days. The applicant themselves can also go and appeal your decision on a certain condition. You know, so it's a whole different level of legal sort of process, legal due process.
And with a
And a
special
butter could
permit
too,
that
right?
gets,
Yeah. What's that? I'm sorry.
go ahead, Buck.
And a butter could also, right? Or
Well,
any,
The thing,
any,
the thing is, yeah, this is my problem with how tightly I mean, I didn't talk about it at town meeting, but this is my problem with how controlling you guys seem to be with site plans. You're making it like a special permit. Special permits, you know, they have a different level of appeal, route of appeal, I should say, you know, and also in a special permit, while you're reviewing the site plan, that hearing has been posted to the general public and everyone has the right to come in and comment on it. But when you just do a general quickie site plan, you know, nobody really knows that's happening unless they go and read your, you know, posting every time you're going to have a meeting. But at least with a special permit, you're legally obligated, the town and the appellant are legally obligated to notify all the abutters and put it in the newspaper. You know, it's a much more open, let's say, process. Not that your regular meetings aren't open, but it's, at least notice is given to way more people, you know,
And
who
then-
may not go and look at your agenda every 2 weeks.
Well, also further to the same point,
Mhm.
I think when a special permit is issued with conditions on it, we issue an order and there's a document that's filed in the land records that has the conditions in it, I think. Isn't that right, Gordon?
That's correct. It first sits with the town clerk for 20 days. And then the town clerk, he or she issues a notice to the appellant that no one has given notice to the clerk that there's been an appeal. Then the appellant takes that document up to the Berkshire, well, here it's Pittsfield Registry, the Middle Berkshire Registry. And they can register that, but they can't register any special permits or anything unless they get that notice from the clerk that no one appealed the decision
Right.
in 20 days.
Right. Well, my only concern is I'd like to know what the rules are about site plans. I mean, if we're sitting and reviewing site plans and we have no authority to impose conditions, I can live with that. But I thought we did. And if we do, then we ought to be able to have figure out some way that they actually mean something if somebody doesn't do what we imposed. So either we have authority or we don't, but it seems like we're sort of in a limbo right now between the two possibilities.
Might be a great question for Jeremiah, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because who knows, there could have been a court case last week that changed everybody's opinion from before.
Mhm.
Right.
But as of now, conditions on site plans are
A little iffy.
little iffy. Yeah, I know. I know. We've sort of
That's a legal
sorta
term, Peter,
known
isn't it?
that. Iffy. It's iffy.
Most of the things I do these days are a little iffy, Gordon.
Yeah. I get that.
Okay.
Peg's got her hand up.
Peg?
Yeah, I just hate to bring this up again, but a few months ago, we said that we would maybe at some point, and seeing there's two selectmen here, ask Jeff Cohen to come and see if there was any more good things about the Eagle Mill. And the last time I was here, I might be wrong, Beth could check the minutes. I thought he was hoping to get something in April, but I guess maybe he didn't get it. So now I guess we'll be seeing those lovely houses all the way till September, or that would be the next time. I'm just curious. That's all. If anybody's heard anything or know anything, it would just be welcome news, that's all.
Peg,
I think
Peg, I'm with you, but I think we ought to ask him to attend the meeting.
Okay, well, I don't know how the other
Because
people.
we did say
feel.
that the last time we talked to him.
Yes,
We
Yes.
asked him if he would be willing to come in like once a
Yes.
month, and it's been many months.
yes. I don't know if we want to do that, or, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea myself, but again. Oops. Oh, I got lost. Yeah,
Not
Sorry.
sure. I'm thinking on this one, if that's even in the jurisdiction of this board, there's,
He said he would be happy to come back anytime we
Yeah.
wanted.
yes,
I don't think we have to subpoena him. I think we can just
No.
ask him to,
no.
no, that,
I mean, just for our own nosiness, I'm not sure.
why don't we wait another month or so and see if anything
Yeah.
happens?
okay. But I do think by September, again, with the, the tourists, everybody's looking. I don't know. It would just be wonderful to see more progress there. I mean, what is it, 10, 11 years? I mean, that's a very long time. I mean, I give them credit, perseverance.
I know
I
it's
just
still on everybody's radar because there was a discussion at Berkshire Regional about housing lately and Eagle Mill project still comes up. So it's on
Right,
everyone's radar.
okay, okay.
Not
Well,
dead, but it's
I
not
hope not.
moving either.
It's not moving either, though. I don't know. Anyways, okay. So,
Okay,
yep, I guess.
we'll give it a couple more meetings.
Couple more months or a couple more meetings. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, everyone, anything else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, under
Go ahead. Go ahead.
items not, you know.
Yeah.
Not thought of. After last Monday, I'm just gonna give you the hit. I never believed that a Board of Selectmen member should be a member of a lot of other groups. And so I'll be officially like resigning from my position on the ZBA and also as an alternate to this board. I would still love to show up and have discussions and listen in as Mr. Renier does. But I think officially, I would like to, my next select board meeting, talk to the chairman of the board of selectmen and put out a request for anyone who's interested in alternate on the planning board and also as a full-time ZBA member. And we also have alternates for there too, but I just want to give you the heads up that that's what my thoughts are. I don't believe I should be officially taking up a spot other than the one I was elected to. So that's all.
Thank you. Agreed. Thank you.
Thanks
Will
for
we
your
be able
service,
to,
Gordon.
thank you, and will we be able to ask of your expertise sometimes?
Anytime, you know,
Thank you.
always and anytime,
Good.
you know, if I can be a resource, I will be, but I will show up on times. I'll be looking at the agendas and, you know,
Gotcha.
I
Thank you.
haven't been shy about talking at other meetings, so I will not be shy anymore either.
Okay, great.
But thank you for all the work you guys do. I don't think the general public really knows how much time and effort you guys put into this. And I appreciate it because I've been in this board before. I know what kind of work this is. So thank you.
But our meetings are like done by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. You guys used to go to like 10 and 11, I hear.
Yes, we
That
did.
was crazy.
Yes, we would, and sometimes we had to, like, we met every week when we were doing some major overhauls of the bylaw and whatnot. We'd be there from 7 till 11, many a night.
That's my bedtime.
Yeah,
Mm.
Hey,
no, I get it. So
anything else?
that's why
Anyone?
we got so goofy on, you know, some of our bylaws. Maybe we stayed too long. I don't know. Anyway, but thank you for your time. I'm gonna go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anything? One last motion?
I
To
do have,
adjourn.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, I know you all know this, but when you go to the park, they're building, the cultural council is building a bandstand. I don't know, I'll call it a bandstand. It's something for concerts. And the high school students are doing it. And it's wonderful. I'm just saying, I think it's wonderful to see them out there working and learning something that they can use really the rest of their lives. Even if they don't go into carpentry, they can certainly use their skills. So I think it's something
mhm.
that's exciting. We haven't seen that in a while, and it's a good thing, I think, for the town and for Lee.
That's right.
Thanks.
And our
Yeah.
Memorial Day parade will be back this year.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
Very
Yeah,
good.
lots of good things.
Good things. Okay,
Thanks.
anyone else?
Move to adjourn.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
See you, Kathy. See you, Sean. Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.